So imagine yourself, you're getting ready to retire, you're gonna spend lots more time with your 3 grandchildren, you're gonna work on all those projects you don't work on whenever you're in your working hours, and one day you develop a little bit of a cough. Not a big deal, just persistent, and then it progressively gets worse and worse until it comes to a point where it's difficult to breathe. And that's when you finally go to the doctor. You've gone to the doctor, you're going to specialists to try to understand what's going on, but ultimately, they can't figure it out. It gets so bad that you have to go to a doctor in Denver and get a high-dose steroid shot so that you can get the inflammation in your lungs down. And then they finally tell you, you have an autoimmune disorder that if you don't get a lung transplant, you have less than a year to live. That was my uncle. There are about 113,000 men, women, and children that are on the organ transplant list at any given moment. Now, you someday could be one of those people. So today I want to talk to you about organ donation. I want to talk to you about some of the myths and reasons people give, the excuses they give for not being an organ donor. We're going to talk through why you should be an organ donor, and lastly, I'm going to tell you how to sign up to be an organ donor. Going into the myths. Myth number 1, if I'm a donor, the doctors aren't going to work as hard to save my life. Nope, it's simply not true. They are there to save your lives. They are there to do whatever in their power to make sure that you are kept alive. And then, at that point, when there's no signs of life, that's when the organ donation piece comes into play. Myth number 2, oh, I'm sickly, they're not gonna want these old things. Nope, really not true. Do not disqualify yourself. There are very few conditions where it just outright is not gonna let you donate an organ. And in fact, I mean, there are many different ways you can donate. There's tissue that you can donate that doesn't have to be some of those bigger organs. And until you are deceased and a medical professional evaluates you, you're not gonna be able to determine that yourself. So please don't disqualify yourself. And myth number 3, the rich and famous shoot straight to the top. Not true. It's not a factor. Celebrity, financial status is not a factor in how they determine the order of who is going to get an organ transplant. There are so many factors that go into that, such as the rarity of the organ, the blood type, ethnicity, many, many factors that go into this. And celebrity status is not one of those. So those are some of the excuses of why people don't want to get on the organ transplant list. And I encourage you to go look at the many, many others reasons that people give at mayoclinic.org and debunk all of those myths. So why should you donate? The most important piece. One donor can save up to 8 lives, and they can impact a lot more through tissue donation, things like even donating their cornea. So they can impact a lot more lives. 10 minutes. There is somebody that is added to the organ transplant list every 10 minutes. And 20 lost. Every day, there are approximately 20 people that pass away because they haven't been given an organ transplant. So consider these things as I go into how to donate. Those stats don't always have to be the case. Yes, there may be somebody added every 10 minutes, but the 20 lost, the most important thing of losing their lives, that doesn't have to be the case. So this is how you donate. First off, every state has their different registry. You can find your registry at organdonor.gov. Get that little heart on your driver's license. When you are renewing your driver's license, make sure they are aware that you want to be an organ donor. And the most important thing, tell your family. Imagine a scenario where you've passed away and they're telling your parents or your family that you are going to be, that they're going to donate your organs, and you've never talked to your parents before, and they're questioning, is this true? I don't know, we've never talked about it. Make sure you are talking to your family and letting them know that you are interested in donating. For example, my family knows they can just give me away. I'm fine with it. So, I am happy to report that my uncle did get a 1 lung transplant. And I was talking to my friend about this. She's a heart transplant coordinator locally, and she was telling me about the same time that my uncle got his transplant, they secured a heart in Dallas, and when they went into the chest cavity, there was only 1 lung. Likely, that was the same person that gave my uncle his life, gave a local person their life back as well. So please consider donating and signing up for the organ donation list. It's something that you will ultimately give. That's the ultimate sacrifice somebody can give, is giving somebody else another day to live. Thank you.